Things look very bleak currently for Team RRR. BlossoM dismantled them very handily in that second game. And now we're headed into a game 3 that could be just as one-sided if RRR can't turn things around.
Well, I know one thing for sure. I am not playing Hero League when I get home. Because there will be a Zagara in my game. And I will not be... And I'm pretty sure that player may not be as perfect as Wiz. That kind of macro play was... It was pretty awesome to see that kind of macro play in Cursed Hollow. Haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah. It's definitely something that needs to be really well practiced. You need to actually have experience understanding macro and understanding what lanes you should push and what your limitations are, like how far you can push. Like someone who actually has like a background in RTS or something like that will like really understand this type of play really well because you know what resources you have, what you can accomplish with them, and you're very quick with your hands and stuff.
Of course.
Wiz is considered to be one of the smartest macro Heroes of the Storm players and shot callers. That's why he's in the top lane. That's why he makes a lot of shot calls. That's why he plays the global top lane. And for him to play the Zagara just makes sense. Like and when you think about it, like everything about it makes sense. You're like, oh yeah, like I don't see any problems with this actually. You know, in terms of who he is and what he's shown us as a top laner. So. I like that. I like the choice a lot. I was skeptical in the draft, but after seeing it, you know, I can easily hindsight 2020 and say, you know what, this is actually pretty good. Yeah,
that was pretty good. And on the other side, after play, the clone timings were often, not all the time, but oftentimes pretty good. But after that time, BlossoM really pressed the advantage of having 5v4 or even 4v4 when some of the heroics were down. When the clone was down, there was a timing of BlossoM to press it, and their macro play really helped a lot with the EXP advantage. But that was game 2, and now we're moving into game 3. It will be Battlefield of Eternity.
BOE. This is again the map choice of BlossoM. RRR takes first pick. They ran in game 1 the Ariel Vala, and in game 2 they ran the Greymane Uther composition. So they didn't do double support the second game. Greymane was their main DPS. They had 2 Greymanes. It was Kong using the Greymane clones. Wasn't good enough to get the picks they wanted. Got out macroed by the Zagara global. Like, Zagara was more the global than the Dahaka was in that game. These things, because globals, the like the Dahaka, right, the Soul Laner, don't matter as much on this map.
But Dahaka has been coming in very handy, especially against the dive, and when you can land on all the isolations. And oftentimes it goes into support, so they cannot heal anything for a long time. So Dahaka is also a pretty good choice in terms, even though this is a 2-lane map. It came out often in Korea, and a lot of the time back in Eastern, and also back all the way back in MSB. Let's see. Uther ban.
ETC again, 3 for 3 for BlossoM.
And Ariel opened once more.
I think they're trying to bait him into it, and I don't think that... I think that R already learned from game 1. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe something else, as Vala can be a big tool here, but it's always very hard to decide when you have an Ariel in your team. Even if you pick Vala, do I go for the usual W build or the Q?
I mean, now BlossoM could just take Vala, Tastar, then can run Zarya, and I don't even think that they necessarily get the Vala, but it may also be that, again, BlossoM is willing to give the Vala over because they crushed it so hard in game 1. I want to look up right now how often they've played Lunara, if they have at all, because everyone plays different heroes on this. It's a little bit tough to check, but I'm looking it up now. They have 3 games played of Lunara. It was HGC on all 3. That's right, I do remember those games now. 0-3. But I suppose Lunara is still an option, even if they take the Vala away. So they will do the Vala Tassadar rotation, which gives us now that big question mark. Will it be the Lunara? Will it be something entirely different? And I think this is very likely. We have a very likely chance to see the Zarya this time. I think there's a good argument for it.
We're talking about BlossoM, of course.
Yes.
And what kind of counter do you think they have prepared? Just Lunara or some other type of global? Maybe something that can bring burst to Vala? Jaina?
Jaina Ariel doesn't seem like a good thing. I suppose Jaina is something I thought we'd be seeing a lot more of, to be honest, in Korea, to break the hyper carry meta. Was if you just burst down carry in 1 second, it doesn't matter how long they can be healed for. So that's certainly something I was thinking about a lot. But they're going to take Kharazim Lunara. Who did this? Someone else did this recently. Let me go look this up. It was Raven. Raven was the one that was pulling this in this early, the early Kharazim picks, of course. No real success with them, but maybe RRR can turn it around.
Let's see. Lunara is considered as a soft counter against Vala, but I don't think Vala will be going towards those auto attacks or even the W.
Yeah, definitely going to be Q.
Yeah, definitely going to be Q. Going to have a lot more range because Vala will be a lot more in the back line because of the Q build. Q plus Strafe seems to be a pretty good build when there's a longer range on the other side.
I feel like this could be another Tyrael ban.
Yeah, just go with the warrior tank choke. Seems alright, and you have your 2 options right after.
I think BlossoM wants to play a new Barak, so if they just ban a tank, okay, ban a Soul Laner. Those are the 2 they were looking at. I think this needs to be a Lucio ban. Needs to be. Take that out. That's right. No more of that sound barrier coming in.
Sustain against the poison was pretty effective in all the Korean matches that happened over the weekend. That may not be the only one. Sometimes Stukov came out as an extra tool with the sustain healing plus the silence. you're looking for tanks, of course, against the poison damage, maybe you're just looking for a very sturdy tank, something like Diablo or Arthas. If you are not picking anything else for a solo lane, you can just send Arthas top and have 4-man rotating or keeping the bottom pretty strong with the Vala Tassadar.
I think Stukov is good. I think Rhaegar is good here. I want to selfishly see the Zarya. And then you can have kind of some lane swaps for the solo lane. Could be the Tassadar. Not going to happen, though. Garrosh coming in. It's going to be their counter to the Kharazim. Dahaka is going to be the solo laner. Rip the Zarya dream.
They do want to have some isolation land on the support so they cannot heal or give palm or even Aegis to Lunara or any other tanks on the other line. It'll be hyper carry Vala though.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see some other builds coming out, not just the Q.
I think you can hyper carry Vala with the Q, just because of how Vala's trait works. Like, you can make it better, obviously, and it's very strong to do so, but you don't have to. Just her base kit alone, without even trading into the auto attack build, is still carry viable, and then you use her talent build into the arrow to win the Immortal, which is always going to be... I mean, I honestly think, in my opinion, I think the Immortal is the strongest objective in the entire game for what it gets you, and so that's why Korean teams focus objectively on their talent builds.
What do you have for solo lane, though?
Well, Malthael is removed. Looks like it's going to be Sonya.
Sonya. The front line. Maybe you can also dive in and do burst damage onto Vala. May just be enough to heal herself back to. Along with the double support, Tyrael, I think Tyrael needs to have perfect sync at almost every single time.
Yeah. Okay, we're looking for the support here. Stukov, I think, is a great choice. I think Rhaegar is an excellent choice. It's going to be so good for the Garrosh, so good for the Vala here. Very much a lot of extra damage he adds to the table. Not the strongest for Vala, but strong enough, I think.
Good support choke already. Not too many available. Of course, Rhaegar is a solid one. Can also ancestral heal the front line like the Haka, Garrosh. Provide some healing onto Vala along with the shield. I think that's just enough. What others are they thinking?
Morales? All?
Morales?
No, it's Rhaegar. I was just teasing you. I'm like, Lily, you know, like, I'm like giving some thought to that one. Meanwhile, Sonya still going through her teenage phase. And that skin. Mom, no, I'm not dating Dahaka. We're just in the top lane together. Come on, Mom. Stop checking my MySpace messages. All right, guys, let's go into game number 3. RRR versus BlossoM. Can RRR turn it around, or we're going to have the 3-0 everyone predicted? Let's find out right now on BOE. In blue, RRR, Oduk on Kharazim, MSG on Sonya, EDZ on Lunara, Kong on Tyrael, take a look on Ariel.
And on the other side, BlossoM, Wiz on Dehaka, Gondar on Garrosh, Mora on Tassadar, Tutu on Vala, and no chat on Rhaegar.
Okay. Holding in that Hungering Arrow for a little while there. But does lock it in with a Lightning Bond. Very much respect coming out for RRR for the Garrosh pick here.
Sprays.
Anti-spray synergy. Who got the Jaina spray?
Mora, I think.
Anti-synergy.
Well, this 4-man push will be incredible. To support with the shield available. Even EZZ with Ariel behind her has to be careful. Rodok is onto the side, looking for that dash potential, looking for that angle to dive in. And Wiz may have a tough time if he overextends just by a little bit, so he cannot push the lane at all. So he's keeping the lane towards the turret, just so that he can actually escape whenever danger comes.
Yeah. Okay. Rodok harassing here. Playing with fire. Actually understanding Gondar's range really well. Just like in Miku Black yesterday.
Yes.
But doing a little bit of harass there, and okay. Small trades. It's going to be very neutral early game because RR is playing so safe, and I actually appreciate this. Not going to go, well, maybe I spoke too soon. Very aggressive here with this one. Actually gets the better trade though because of the Ariel pick.
Also good dive coming out from Rodok. Did tons of damage alone. Always gets some good. Oh! Onto MSG. Will not be enough for the kill, but that's a good trade if you're playing the Haka against Sonya.
Uh-oh, Oduk! 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 Oh! Oduk is dead. He's the first to go down in this team fight.
That's some Korean that's some Korean commentating team fight for you.
There you go. Just had to do it for you guys. Anyone else think the Korean commentators are just so much better than the English ones? But I don't know what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. Stuns onto Gondar from the Immortal, but that's enough. And RR really did not do any damage on the other side.
All right, well, they win halftime. Respawn coming in for Oduk. We're going to aggressively defend here. Very difficult to do with the comp they're running, though.
They don't have much poke, but with the Q-Volley, it can happen for... If they are given the time, they can still do it.
Well, the Q's not going to do as much for them as they would like because of the proximity of these heroes. Karzim is soloing the other Immortals. They're actually trying to catch up. They're still 6k behind. They're not going to be able to hold this position, though. And it looks like it's going to be about half shield Immortal here, 9.4k or 9.04k. 0.041 repeating on this Immortal Shields. And now that we head into this, I feel like this could be a place where RR can show their patience once again. Well,
Ooh, throws
maybe
Ariel.
not.
Let's see if the healing is enough. It is enough for the time
They
being.
need to be patient. They have good siege. They have good ways to deal with this. This isn't going to get more than a wall unless they mess up or make a mistake, overextend. There's no reason to take risks here. There's just play passive like they did for most of the early part of this game. Oh,
They need to be careful of Gondar's Groundbreaker every single time, especially Lunara and Ariel.
and now this Immortal that was supposed to maybe hurt this fort a little bit, but only get the wall, is now going to get the entire fort.
Yeah, be very close to the fort, even more. Because they don't have too much range on the other side, actually 0. Without Lunara.
No. That was all their range damage. That was their main source of poke. Well, they have good front line to allow that to happen. Wiz is actually doing quite well in this lane right now, too. Karzim is pinging the rotation, so trying to tell MSG to back off. Look at this. He's trying to bait it. Not going to happen. Oh, another pick on the Lunara.
Throws due to inside so he can do maximum amount of damage.
Karzim went up top for the gank. Wiz did not take the bait. Going to be a keep wall heavily damaged, half the gate, and one of the cannon towers down.
With the fort down, now they can just switch the rotation and make the Haka just push the bottom, and they can also push the fort. That will be about the time they can clear the camp plus hit 10. I think that will be around the timing when they hit 10.
They're going to take this camp first down here, the neutral camp. Top camp was lost. Karzim rotation at least got that value. That's why it's really cool to have a hero like Karzim to rotate for the picks in the solo lane, because when you fail that, you just take the camp instead, and then you can actually pressure the lane. And Karzim is not a hero that's going to really help against the bot push with the solo or the neutral camp. So it's cool to have him up here because he can actually push this really hard.
Oduk noticed the rotation, but he may be punished from Garrosh. Does dash away.
Had it been any other hero, that probably would have been a pick. Good body block from Mora too. So, look, this game is definitely going to be a tough one for RR with how this has started. But they absolutely can, before 10, win some team fights, get some picks, maybe take the next Immortal, which is going to spawn in 15. So, I don't want to say all hope is not lost, but technically isn't, right? Like, there's still hope, especially when you got a Lunara on your team with the Lunara Ariel comp, but they need to make something happen pre-10 or the hope goes away. They need to make something happen right now, and I just do not know if they're going to be able to do it. They're going for it.
And Sonya is pulled out.
Good disengage from BlossoM.
Well, let's see. The Haka is pushing bottom.
Ooh, that was not a very good time pull. Look at the damage here from Lunara. This is a good opportunity. Gondar does get taken out here. MSG survives. Will they be able to get the kill on EGZ? Yes, they will. The Psystorm will do it. And RRR, they got that opening pick, but the longer fight was not theirs.
They actually went deeper than they should have. They were looking for the kill. Of course, that armor onto Garrosh helped to survive for a long, long time. So that Lunara and also Tyrael had to come in for the kill. And after that kill, BlossoM hit 10. I think they will just snowball this one out even more. Entire level and half, 1.5 away from 10 for RRR. This is a disastrous situation for them.
Yeah, this is going to be 20,000 shields.
Full shield against a heroic on the other side. This may just go straight to the keep.
Feel the hatred of 10,000 shields.
20,000.
Yeah. I think that RRR, again, if anybody dies here, like, this could actually end the game. Like, they could lose the game. They have to be...
If it goes all the way into the keep, I think.
I mean, it's going to the keep. And if anybody dies, this is game over. EGZ cannot get picked this time like what happened last time. I actually like this for now to actually try to get that level 10 so that they are going to be in a safer situation when they come back. This is smart, but they need to come back really soon. Like, this Immortal is still doing ranged attacks. So it's basically just not taking damage at all because they have a minion wave of this. They need to come back now and hit that 10. They're doing the camp down there? I don't know about that. Okay, EGZ needs to be really safely positioned.
Just a 10. This keep is under attack. May actually get the keep, seems like. Their damage is going in, but not in time.
I like how passively RRR is playing this though. They need to get an opening pick in the safest way possible. Look at the angle coming in here for MSG. But unfortunately, that's already Karazim out of the fight. And now the keep is gone. Nowhere to hide. EGZ is going to go down here,
Maybe
it looks
you
like.
are right. Seems like this could be a game.
Yeah, well, their death timers are low. BlossoM is going to take the safe route and walk away. They could have tried to push the issue, but...
Even with this 8-minute keep, I mean, and they have the rotation on themselves. They have the Haka. They have all the tools.
By the way, notice what we saw just there out of Dudu. Something that more people should use is the fact that you can use walls to keep your trait going as well so you get the movement speed. That's why she was able to rotate to that camp so much quicker. Cool things like that you can use the wall for. But this is a massive lead, almost unrecoverable for BlossoM.
Well, let's see. We may see a miracle coming out from RRR. I think they had some tools. Karazim was taunted, so he couldn't even palm himself at the very end. That was a big tool that missed. And after that point, it just felt like dominoes there.
Yeah. So, Cap's taking bot, and Wiz is just going to try to buy time here. It's a 5-man rotation top.
But
they can actually just get the keep, I think.
So they do have to go back.
Yeah.
There's no way they can stay here.
And
this is just free wall. I think their rotation. This was a rotational mistake coming out from RRR.
Okay, let's see what BlossoM wants to do with this. They can try to engage with Dahaka, but they don't need to. So they're just going to have him prep for the catapults in top lane. And just waiting is Garrosh here for a punish play. If that is allowed to happen, Dahaka will come in and could be disastrous. 3 levels down, talent tier down. As mentioned, catapults getting prepped. And they're already starting this Immortal. RR cannot lose this one. The cannon, or sorry, the keep wall is already down. Those cannon towers both gone.
Catapults will be going straight to the core. As RR is trying to defend, but BlossoM has poked, so that goes in deep.
Okay.
Some damage.
This is going to be their opportunity. Gondar very low. The Ancestral does connect here. Sank so well placed so he can come back in, but will it matter at the end of the day? I'm not 100% sure here. Aegis, again, well placed. Immortal not actually going to do spin stuns here. That's one good thing for RR on top of this one here. Good palm timing.
This may be enough for them to actually win the team fight. Tyrael dies, but that blow up, the trade value will be real. Gondar survives. Maybe the poison damage will be enough to get the kill, but on the other side, Vala is just chasing targets.
And EZZ, maybe she survives here. I don't think Sonya will be so lucky. Okay, trying to toss the minion there to get the kill. Wiz comes down for the flank. EZZ barely gets hit by that Hungering Arrow. Max range. And Karzim, sure, he clears the catapults, but this is going to be the next Immortal. More than 20,000 shields, 20,500. Marching down the bot keep, which Dahaka is already starting to send minions towards. They clear the top catapults, and we almost had the double talent tier lead here. That was RR's best fight, their best positioning. They used every heroic perfectly. The Aegis was perfect, the Palm was perfect, and still, with a scaling disadvantage and their inability to get picks quickly enough, they just weren't able to win that fight in the end. They could be happy with how it went, but it's not going to save them in this game.
Yeah, they had a lot of poison damage, but it was very much cancelled by all the shields coming out from Tastar most of the time. They could have got at least 1 or 2 more kills, but the poison damage takes a long time, and the shields healing coming in at the perfect target really helped them. Okay, here's another team fight. There's a good taunt.
Okay, taunt coming through. Gondar is eating a lot of damage, but he does get the armor from it. Kong going in. Sank is actually really well placed here for the chase here. EZZ again doing so much damage. Attainment strike is real. Aegis well placed, but it's too late. Sonya is down in this fight. That's going to be a triple. In fact, the trait not going to do enough to get the kill. Dudu dies here, actually, I guess, in the end to a sweeping strike, but it won't matter. That's going to be game over. 17 kills to 3. That is going to be the end of RR's week of Heroes of the Storm.
That was a massive play. I think Sank and RR, they're using lots of defensive tools pretty well, but the scaling is just way too in favor of BlossoM at the moment.
When you have hyper carries versus hyper carries, that's percentage scaling. It certainly matters, man. And now Core will go down. This was our one-sided series of the night. We weren't sure if it was going to go long or if this was going to be a stomp. Most people lean towards it was going to go maybe till the longer series since RR has made so many improvements this season. But since they lost to Raven, perhaps the practice, as you said, has not been as good for this team, and they just simply were not prepared for the onslaught of BlossoM's very coordinated team fighting, very coordinated picks. Game number 1 with the Anub'arak, I think, was the most impressive game from BlossoM, and then the momentum just continued.
It was very tough for RR to actually focus. They're oftentimes focusing on Gondar, who has armor, and as he goes down, he gets more armor. When he's about to go down, he gets Ancestral almost every single time, and that was the biggest thing. And if you focus tank, I mean, you know what happens all the time.
Especially when you focus a tank that gets tankier the more you focus him.
Yes, so you lose damage, more damage you try to do. So, I'm not quite sure. Of course, BlossoM, I think they had somewhat better of a positioning. Poison damage really came into multiple targets, but healing-wise, Tastar was a really great tool onto Vala due to, I think, he played with fire with that Q Vala. I think he really did pretty well with the positioning and the maximum amount of damage with the range.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that was just overall, man, it was very well coordinated, good understanding of how to fight those compositions. And RR doing some funky stuff like putting EZZ on the Uther, 0-3 on the Lunara, now 0-4, maybe drafting towards their strengths instead of trying to draft towards the meta could have been better. It's just one of these things where when you look at it, when you and I are commentating this, it's hard to not be harsh. It's hard to kind of have an open mind about this team because now for the entirety of this second phase, we're down to, that was their second to last match. They have a match next week as well. We're down to this team that has just been destroyed so many times and has clearly lost the will to practice from what we're hearing. You know, in these moments, it's like, well, no one is surprised, right, anymore, and it's sad. But only focus for them now is practice for the Crucible, practice for the Crucible,
Yes.
practice for the Crucible.
Because open division teams, they don't look as strong as like no teams like Tempest or Mighty, but they look pretty dominant in that open division, and they have been following up with the meta pretty strong. So this Crucible will be a wild one. Maybe it will be the first Korean team change between the first division and second division. Can happen. It happened in Europe, and Zealots, they're doing pretty well in EU.
Yeah, certainly so. Can happen, can have amazing stories. It's not the story of our this season. Find out who our MVP is going to be for the night here. I'm going to have that interview set up for you guys in just a moment. And we'll have that translated. It's Wiz.
축하합니다.
Wiz from BlossoM.
I'm
안녕하세요.
sure we're going to hear about that Zagara.
Hello.
안녕하세요.
Hello.
자, 간단하게 본인 소개 오늘 간단한 소감 한번 들어볼게요.
안녕하세요. 팀 블라썸에서 올라운더를 맡고 있는 위즈라고 합니다.
Hello, I'm Flex from Team
위즈.
BlossoM. My name's
오늘
Wiz.
승리 가져갔습니다. 오늘 기분 어떻습니까?
How do you
평상시
feel?
자가라를 많이 하고 싶었는데
I've always wanted to play Zagara,
그래서 사실
and I did
오자마자
today.
말씀드리고 싶었던 거는
네.
자가라가 나온 이유. 사실
그렇죠.
이게 제일 궁금하거든요.
What was the main reason you played Zagara tonight?
그 제가 굳이 함주를 안 하고
네.
그 라인만 밀면은 이길 수 있을 것 같아가지고
Zagara, I thought
네.
if I just push
운영하려고
in
뽑았어요.
the lanes,
그럴 거면 사실 다른 것도
I think we could
많이
just win the
있잖아요.
game.
네.
So that's
자가라가
the
그-
main reason why
근데
we picked
탑라인
him.
컨트롤을 혼자서 다 할 수 있는 게
네.
자가라여가지고
그렇죠.
그리고 자가라는 캠프까지 혼자서 다 돌릴 수
Zagara
있어요.
can
네.
push all lanes with the network, and also
그래요?
solo camp
그것도
pretty
될것
quickly.
같은데.
가지로는 어떻게 보시나요?
That's why. How do you think about
네.
Gaslow?
가지고는,
Gaslow.
알겠습니다.
모르겠어요.
네. 알겠습니다. 대답이 빨리 안 나오면은
All right.
네.
지금
As you
블라썸이
heard from Wiz.
너무나도 분위기가 많이 좋고
and BlossoM,
저는
your
되게 궁금한 게 이제 블라썸 자체
atmosphere seems so much better.
게임할 때 분위기 이게 너무 궁금하죠. 사실 저희는 그런 얘기를 못 들으니까.
How are the things in how's the atmosphere in the
네.
team house?
뭐 어때요?
What's happening?
팀
분위기.
분위기는 모던 형이 기분 좋냐 안 좋냐에 따라서 좀 달라져요.
Well, it depends on
저희 팀 실세가
Mora a lot.
분위기여가지고
If he's having a good day, it's a good day. If he's having a bad day, then it's a bad day.
아 그리고 모라 선수가
네.
목소리가 낮아요.
And Mora has
네,
a
굉장히
deep
많이
tone.
끌리는 목소리라
그렇죠.
네, 화나면은 굉장히
As
무서운 목소리.
if he's having a
네,
bad
그런
day,
거라서
and with a deep tone, I think
분위기에 따라 달라진다는 게
the atmosphere can change
모라의
severely. You know.
그날의 컨디션.
컨디션에 따라서 팀 내
네.
분위기가 바뀐다.
네.
이거 얘도 상관없는 거죠? 근데 사실
Does it matter if you
네.
say this
지금
on
수성은 좀
on stream?
끌려할 것 같은데.
네.
I
아니, 사실상 쉽긴
think you'll be
한가 봐요,
watching.
지금.
Maybe on our way back
뭐
there will
어쨌든
be
간에
some
그만큼 어쨌든 팀 내 분위기를
violent
만들어내는 그런
actions,
부분도
but I don't
중요한
know.
부분이고, 어쨌든 뭐 치킨 티켓은 사실상 이제는 불가능한 상황인 거고.
Of course, going
그리고
straight to the
플러스
BlizzCon is
입장에서는
impossible, but
무조건,
there will be a
이제
playoff
플레이오프로
later on
바라봐야
coming
되는
up.
상황인 건데 요즘에 이 승승장구라는 표현이 딱 맞잖아요.
네.
요즘 이기는 맛을
But you're
좀
on a
알았을
winning
거고.
streak somewhat.
네, 요즘 좀 어때요? 괜찮은 것
So
같아요.
how does that
이거
feel?
충분히
Do you
이거 세
think you
번째
can
따겠는데
take some games
진짜?
off and
일단
possibly go to
분위기가
BlizzCon?
네.
제가 좀 대회장 오면 좀 겁냈었어요.
I used to
7위를 하고
네.
많이 져가지고
네, 네.
used to be
제가
used to
많이
be fearing
대회장만
of
오면
playing in
겁나고
tournaments,
상대 선수들만 보면은 무섭고 이랬는데
but of course
네,
against
그게
the stronger
조금씩 되는
teams.
것 같아요.
네.
네.
그래서 그럼 이제
But not anymore, not as
다음
much.
경기 이제 마지막 경기인가요?
네.
템페스트 남아 있는데
And you
네.
do have one
네.
more game against Tempest,
템페스트에
one more
대해서
match.
어떤 식으로 좀 준비하고 있다.
How,
뭐 이런 게
how are
있나요?
you guys preparing against them?
템페스트를 분석하기보다는
Rather than
우리가
analyzing
잘하는 거
Tempest?
하자라는 생각으로 할 것 같아요.
우리가 잘하는 거죠. 우리
We're thinking of
거죠.
let's
네.
just do what we can do well.
패 상대로.
사무로도 또 나왔었고 블라썸에서.
쌈으로 굉장히 좋아합니다.
I love Samuro.
네.
약간 좀
쌈으로
비주류를
네, 자갈하나.
So you like playing all the?
뭐,
혹시 렉사를 좋아하세요?
Do you like Rexar too?
그래요?
네.
줄.
I do not like
렉사르는
Rexar.
좋은
여기서
캐릭터만
딱
좋아하기 때문에.
좋은
I only like
캐릭터만.
good heroes, you know.
아 사무로와 자가라가 좋다.
저는
So you're saying
쌈으로랑
Samuro and Zagara are
네.
good heroes.
1.5 티어.
네.
1티어
I
바로
think
아래.
they're
네,
1.5 tier.
그래요?
네.
조건이 팀 내에서 잘 안 갖춰지나 봐요.
네.
그렇다는 얘기는
Maybe your
안
team
아,
does
팀원들이
not
안
agree with
시켜준다.
you, you know.
누가 안 시켜주는 거야 정확하게? 또뭐
Who's the one that stops you from
네,
picking
우리
all
공님.
these? Is it the low tone guy once more?
편집 안 됩니까?
편집이요? 아 생방송인데.
Can you edit this one out?
한번 해볼게요.
No, this
아,
one
생방송인데
goes
이게
out
편집이 가능한
live
시스템 요즘 또 있거든요.
in
팟캐스트
Korea and
시스템이
also
때문에
to the world,
이게
but we'll try
가능한지
to
아마
edit
모를
this
거예요,
one out,
뭐라는지.
Wiz,
한번
just for
스스로
you.
물어보세요. 내가 무슨 얘기했는지 혹시 형 아니면
Just make sure Mora does not.
약간 생명의 위협을
watch the
느끼고
VOD.
있어가지고 지금.
아 지금요? 아,
I think I maybe threatened
나중에
and
한번 보세요. 기가 막히게 편집돼 있거든요.
I may be
네, 한번
at
지켜보시면
stake
될것
of life,
같고요.
you know.
자 그리고 아바투로 인터뷰 한번 나눠보도록 하겠습니다.
Of course, let's go
블라썸
into Avatar interview.
훨씬 더 좋은 경기력을
Compared to
보여주고
season
있는
1, BlossoM's
블라썸의
having a better
성장 원동력과 팀의
time
Why
in
is he
season
putting
2.
on the hat though?
성장 원동력은
네.
일단
What are the
real.
motivations going into season 2?
아바투로
It's not a real
네.
Avatar
gondar의
without the
힘이
hat.
좀 있는 것 같고요.
곤다를 안 죽이던데요?
I think coming into
본인이 안
Gondar,
죽는 건지 뭐
Gondar coming into
죽는지
the team
안 죽는 건지 모르겠지만.
is a big change
gondar가
for sure.
잘해요.
아 곤다를
And
안
Gondar
잘하네.
is super
어.
good.
그리고 저도 앞라인에서 같이 잘해주는데
And even in
네.
the front line, I do well.
gondar가 너무 잘해가지고
But
티가 안
Gondar
나요.
내가
just
티가 안 나는 것 같아요.
is a superstar, so I don't shine as much.
연습량도 엄청나고
그렇죠.
네.
히오스 아니면 아무것도 안 하니까
네.
뭐 엄청난 선수 아니겠습니까? 그거 보면서 어떤 느낌 들어요?
진짜 될 애구나.
How do you feel when you
되게
watch Gondar play? And every time I
네.
see him, I think he can actually be a star.
그렇습니다. 성장 원동력, 뭐 팀의 장점, 본인들만의 팀의 장점이자 뭐 색깔, 뭐 어떤
So those
게
kind of
있을까요?
strength, do you your
일단
color?
고정관념이
What do you think are your
고정관념.
team strengths are?
제가 서브 탱커가 사실 자가라나 폴스타트 이런 걸 안 쓰거든요.
네네네.
Sub tank don't really use Zagara or Falstad kind of things.
그냥 뽑는 그런 거여가지고.
But I also pick
좀
lots of other
고착화가
heroes.
장점인 것 같아요.
네.
사실
So I think that's one of my personal
자가라와 사무라가
strengths that
나오는 거는
also
사실
strength that the
그
team
틀에
can have.
굉장히 많이 벗어나 있는
네.
네 자유로운 그런 픽이긴 하거든요.
그러나 모든 것은
Zagara is not
따라야죠.
really in
그 안에 나중에
any
상황이 있으니까
kind of role, you
있네요.
know. It's a
자 이제는 뭐 본인 그 블라썸도 이제 아시겠습니다. 이제 제 마지막 질문입니다. 네. 본인들도
Okay, the
잘
last
알고
question.
있겠습니다만 본인들의 능력에 따라서 사실은 2위와 3위를 결정짓게 만들 수도 있잖아요. 사실.
depending on your
본인들이
ability.
들고 정말 중요한 팀의 블라썸이요.
템페스트와의
네.
경기가
And
against Tempest, you may actually decide who will be ending with the second place from HGC Korea.
한이 있더라도
네.
무조건 블라썸이 한 세트라도 잡아줘야만 하는 거거든요. 이기면 당연히 훨씬 더 좋은 거고. 어떻게
You
뭐
can get at
템페스트
least
상대로
one
해서
game
어느
off
정도
if
선취가
you
나올 것
actually
같습니까?
win a series against Tempest. Things can change, you know.
일단은 3대1 정도 나올 것 같고요.
I think it'll be
오.
about
가요?
저희가 3.
3-1.
저희가 3-1이요는 뭐예요?
저희가
1위에요,
1위에요?
저희가 1위.
아 지긴
아.
지는데.
So us,
근데
I think we'll
이거는
lose
사실 안
1-3 against Tempest.
아까 건 됐는데.
네.
예.
근데 프롭에서 이겨야죠.
But
가장 중요한 건
네.
프롭.
In the playoff, I
그럼
think that's the
이등은
most
못하게
important
하고
one, and we'll win in the playoff.
L5를 올려 보내겠다.
네.
왜냐면은
템페스트를 떨구고 L5를 올려 보낼 거예요?
So you want Tempest to be in the playoff, right?
다들 막 L5에
아,
고춧가루를
아,
생각했는데
sorry, I had to
그러니까요.
translate that
템페스트에
part for you
고춧가루가
guys too.
딱 뿌려지면은
요거는 또 좀 다르네요.
네.
듣던 홈코너 입장에서 좀 기분이 나쁜데.
I want to drag Tempest down.
위즈 형 왜 그랬냐고. 네.
뭐 알겠습니다.
As they're
템페스트
about
뭐
to take the
추가하실 거
second
있나요?
place.
저는 아까
뭐
네.
그거까지 알겠습니다. 어쨌든 뭐 템페스트전 저 준비 잘 하시고 또 플레이오프에서도 멋진 모습 마지막 티켓.
If you prepare well against Tempest, then maybe do really well. Maybe go towards BlizzCon, of course.
마지막으로 한번 들어보고 마무리.
And of course, your shoutouts, Wiz.
제가 전 시즌에 막
네.
7이라고 많이 패배하고 그래가지고
네.
사실 히오스에 대한 열정도 없고
네.
자신감을 좀 많이 잃었었어요.
네.
And because I lost a lot in Hero League, I lost confidence.
팬분들과 블라썸을 많이 사랑해 주시는 팬분들이 있더라고요.
But there are lots of fans who love
정말
the team
감사드리고
BlossoM, and I'm really
이렇게
thankful for that.
부럽지 않은 선수가 되기 위해서 진짜 열심히
And I will try my best so that our fans will not be down because of my actions, my plays, and always thank the fans for rooting us.
네. 멀록 인형이 2개 있고
Now, time for the
디아블로 피규어가 하나
presents.
있어요.
네.
네.
그리고 하나를 선택을 하면 만약에 본인이 디아블로를 선택하잖아요.
그러면 내일은
내일은
선택권이 없어요.
무조건 멀록만
네.
둘.
네, 저는 멀록
Diablo,
그래요? 디아블로
Murloc.
말고 멀록으로다가.
네, 사실
어.
내일 노체 그 2주년이
네.
생일이거든요.
네.
It's
어.
No Chat's birthday tomorrow,
때우는 건가요?
so I want to give this to No Chat.
아 그래요?
네. 생일 선물을
생일 선물로
As
멀록을.
is,
네.
it's No Chat's birthday tomorrow, so I want to give this to him as a birthday gift.
네.
MVP로.
어.
네.
저희가 뭐 자리아 피규어는 없어가지고
네.
그거는 나중에 또 저희가 또 되면은 아무래도 드리도록 하겠습니다.
Maybe later if they
자,
have a
오늘 있었던
Zarya
경기 결과
Zarya one, that can be working better for No Chat. But that's it for the interview, and here's the result.
Here's the results. BlossoM takes a series with a very one-sided 3-0 score. Towers of Doom, Cursed Hollow, and BOE all just totally dominated by this team, who could make a crazy run through playoffs. We'll just have to wait and see, but they wanted this scoreline so much to make sure that they are ahead of Miracle. Because of this win, Miracle is almost guaranteed to have the final playoff spot in 6th place. I think that might actually physically be, like, mathematically in 6th place no matter what now, but I don't have those types of Caldor-esque powers to let you guys know immediately, but I'm pretty sure that it does. We'll take a look at the standings in a moment, and you'll see that.